Wrestling fans from around the corner, around the world. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
It took him a second.
Always does.
Before we get to this great full-length episode of Memories and Legends, check out some of our great friends you can help support the cause to keep more Memories and Legends coming your way.
Cheer! Why, hello! I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
We're friends, Andre, please.
Maybe you'll believe this, Hogan.
You will never, ever see it again.
Austin face to face with McMahon.
Nobody tells Stone Cold Steve Austin what to do or when to do it.
And that's the bottom line.
Neither of these superstars is leaving this match without a few scars.
The story will end with me becoming the Universal Champion.
I don't think I've ever seen two more evenly matched competitors in my life.
WWE's greatest rivalries, available online or wherever books are sold.
Wrestling fans, check out the brand new lapel pin from our friends at Crimson Mask. Inspired by Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, it's Bang 316. Only $8 each or 2 for $12. If you think it makes a great holiday gift, give me a hell yeah. Get yours today at crimsonmask.bigcartel.com.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to the Season 3 kickoff of Memories and Legends. I'm Dan Marotti, and I don't have one but two great individuals joining me tonight. We have the WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, along with El Presidente himself, Dr. David Reese.
Glad to be here. It's a new season. There's a lot of history for us to cover. There's a lot of interesting stories for us to talk about.
Absolutely. As we noted, Tony, on one of our Wrestling Insider episodes this week, Oscar from Men on a Mission is going to be joining me for an in-depth look at the year 1994 in WWF. The 80s boom came to an end. The Hogans and the Macho Mans and the Roddy Pipers. It moved out for what they called the new generation, for the Bret Harts, the Diesels, the Shawn Michaels, the Undertakers. WWF was in peril at that point. There was a chance Vince McMahon could go to jail if he was found guilty on those steroid distribution charges. It's a very interesting episode. It's part of about a 5-hour full-length documentary we put together with Oscar, but this program itself just looks at 1994. However, here on this one, we love to talk about the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Famers. This weekend, it's yet another Hall of Fame induction at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Tony, we want to take a look at some of the folks that are going to be putting a ring on their finger, much like you wear. Do you have it on right now?
No, I got it in my pouch.
Right. You have it in your pouch. Well, that's a good place for it. Your pouch. Why do you keep the Hall of Fame ring in your pouch?
So I don't lose it.
And do you think a finger is going to be amputated if you happen to put it there?
No, I just sometimes wear it, sometimes I don't.
Why the pouch?
Because I don't lose nothing here. This is my pouch. Hulk Hogan got one too, if you notice. Randy Savage wore one. Every wrestler out of the 80s and 90s, they still wear these fanny packs.
You like the fanny pack?
Well, you can put everything in and you could never lose nothing.
Now, you have me curious. What else is in the fanny pack other than your WWE Hall of Fame ring?
Oh, I got a sandwich here, milkshake, some chocolate chip cookies.
I wouldn't be surprised if you had a couple
I got a
of
jar.
old cookies you found in some hotel in there.
I got
melting.
a jar. Well, you know, I'm from the South. I got a jar, believe it or not, a jar of pig feet in here.
All right. Well, Tony, someday we'll have to do an episode on the inside of your pouch. As
If you
like
watch
to call it.
Legend House, you notice I had them pig feet.
You did? You liked your pigs?
I like the
You liked
pig
your
feet and them chitlins.
All right, wrestling fans, as you know, it's kind of a unique grouping of talent going into the Hall of Fame this year, Dr. Reese. I know you keep up to date on such things. The headlining routine, certainly one of the definitions of the Attitude Era, that being D-Generation X. First, Shawn Michaels, Triple H in Chyna. Then they're grouping with Triple H, Chyna, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and X-Pac. 6 unique talents that certainly have accomplished great things in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah. You know, wrestling evolved with the times.
Yes.
And a lot of people of my generation, I've seen wrestling in my world. Like in the 70s and in the 80s, to me, that was wrestling. And then when it changed, you take a lot of people my age that say, oh, I don't like the wrestling now. I like it back in the older days. You hear people say it about music. Oh, I like it when Elvis Presley was singing. I like it when this guy was singing. I don't like the music today. Every generation changes and Vince McMahon is a genius because he could see the future. He could see the changes in things. So what he do, he go with that. You know, he don't try to continue. You know, when you look at the old West movie, like when I watch the old movies, I love watching. My wife asked me why. I said, I can't believe that cars was going up and down the road and people stayed on their horseback. They figured they want to try to, the range wars were pretty much against fencing. They believe in open fields where cows could run all over the place, you know, and everybody, and then the farmers came in. So the farmers and the homesteader was to the column was a threat. Well, when they bring in the wrestling world now, to us old-time guys that would grab a headlock and hold you there for 10 minutes, you know, when the guy bounced it off the rope 20 times, we go, oh, it would never last. You know, what kind of wrestling? Look more like a gymnastic class than a wrestling match because the world will change. People cannot sit through an old Tony Atlas match the way and get the same enjoyment out of it, the way they get enjoyment out of a match of today's time. It's totally different, more excited, more action is required. We did a high spot, maybe 3 times in the whole match. Now the whole match is a high spot. Right. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Non-stop action, non-stop action. Now we didn't have that. We have our up moment, our down moment. Our up moment, with the wrestling now, it go up, 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 up. There's no down. So it haven't changed. It fits today's mentality of people. People want instant gratification. And pro wrestling, Vince figured out a way to give it to them.
And we need to honor the people from the past and understand the people from the past. And of course, there are good stories, there are poignant stories,
Absolutely.
there are sad stories. But the thing is, some of us, like old geezers like me, look at it because we remember the past. But then there are a lot of people who need to know the past to grow on it and to know that, as Tony said, things are changing. Things are going to change. But if we don't know where we came from, we're not going to understand where
The
we're
foundation of it.
Well, look at Shawn Michaels. He's going to be the first announced 2-time WWE Hall of Famer. Maybe not my personal favorite wrestler I've ever seen perform, but I have to say, as far as the variety of his work goes, probably the best match-for-match professional wrestler I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Tony? Agree, disagree?
No, I agree with you. Yeah,
You've seen a lot of wrestlers in your day.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, when somebody say, well, who were the best wrestlers, who was the worst wrestler, in the eyes of the promoter, is who put the most butts in the seats. And nobody hold that title more than Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, and
as far
Undertaker.
As the draws go, it would be Austin and The Rock.
And Undertaker.
I don't know about Undertaker
I
as
do.
much, but
I do. Undertaker.
we disagree on that one a little bit.
Yeah, Undertaker. More so than The Rock.
I think Shawn Michaels, certainly also, he wouldn't be remembered as a great draw. He was incapacitated due to a back injury in early 1998 after the WrestleMania that took place just down the street here in Boston. He didn't return to active competition.
I'll tell you why I said that.
All right, go ahead.
You could do WrestleMania. You could do WrestleMania without Shawn Michaels. You can't do it without Undertaker.
Why is that?
Who's going to replace him?
Do you really want to see him at this stage?
Yes.
You do.
Not me, the fans. I mean, I've watched him all through too. I was there in 2008, 2009, 2012,
and it's
2014,
2019 right now.
2006, and it don't go away. It don't go away. It's like it's a permanent tattoo on the fan. I mean, Taker. Look at the many years where he graced WrestleMania. A lot of WrestleManias they ran without Shawn Michaels.
Correct.
They even ran them without Hogan.
Yeah.
But when the last time they had WrestleMania without Undertaker?
When was the last time they had one without him?
Without him.
16.
That was it.
And which other one did he miss? 10.
See?
Those were the two he's missed since he debuted.
That's
I
it.
understand what you're saying, but
and
I
the
think
reason they brought him back is why? Because the tenders dropped. There's Undertaker fans that they just love that Undertaker, brother, and you can't get away from it. No matter how hard you try, it's just something about him that. Now I think Hogan would have had the same mystique if he had not went to WCW. I think he made his big mistake by especially when he went downhill with TNA.
Yeah.
That taking a step down off of the, he went from being the mirror to dog catcher. Okay?
you have a lot of praise for TNA.
Well, yes, but when you look at where they at, I mean, he took a step down. I mean, he was TNA. There was nothing in TNA bigger than him or as big as him. Nothing. He was the biggest thing there. What did TNA have that was bigger than Hogan when they had
a
Hogan?
very talented roster at that
He
time.
had
a lot
talent.
of star
He
power,
had talent, but not one piece of talent as big as he. So he took a step down to be with them. And then the reality shows, all that stuff, he took a step down to do all that stuff. Like when they had the little thing with the nasty boy and that like that, exposing his family to the world and letting people see and all his tragedy with his, with his son and his wife and all this stuff. That kept him from being where Undertaker. But when you think about the Undertaker, there's no scandals, there's no reality show, there's no small groups. They're just WrestleMania, the Phenom.
He is the epitome
He was able to keep his
He
was able to keep his image at a high level.
But I have to ask.
Kind of like Denzel Washington in acting, no scandals, no nothing, great actor, and then you get another actor where that would call up and say I was beaten up by a bunch of people in red hats and.
All right. Well,
so see,
really enjoying. Go ahead.
On another level, the Undertaker has always been a connection with the supernatural.
Yes.
And that's never been tainted. He's never left it. He's never left his connection with the supernatural.
No, he didn't.
He's
again, not of this world, brother.
I have all the respect in the world for the man, in more ways than some people may realize. But at this point, what do you have when the bell rings? Not much.
You keep saying that he put this curse on you.
I don't think if he was getting the paydays he was for the shows in Saudi Arabia and the like, I don't think he'd be hopping back into the ring too anxiously.
Then why
either.
he for Saudi Arabia? Because that's what they wanted to see. They didn't ask for Stone Cold. They didn't ask for Cena. They asked for Taker.
They also asked for the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna, who are also both dead. So they're really not too up to date with the happenings in the world of professional wrestling if they wanted Yokozuna and the Warrior to come in for the greatest Royal Rumble.
Come on.
That's who the Prince asked for.
Is that
Warrior and Yoko were two of the guys. Yokozuna's been dead almost 20 years. God rest his soul.
Well, how come he can't make the show then? That's no excuse.
Well, all right. If Vince McMahon, if he was booked, Vince might be a little upset.
As long as Vince don't have to pay him, he'd be all right with it.
I've heard about burying talent, but that's gone.
In a different way.
That's good. That's good.
But anyway, back to Shawn Michaels, Tony. One of the best in-ring talents I've ever seen. He overcame some great obstacles in his life with the drug and alcohol problems he had the first part of his career. He came back after that almost 4-year sabbatical when he had back surgery and really put together a great ending to his career from 2002 to 2010.
Yeah.
What did you think of the DX group itself, Tony? Was it too risque for you?
Well, no, I liked the group. What I felt, just my opinion,
all right,
that Shawn retirement was too soon. I was there the night that he retired, and we watched him perform, and I just felt that he kind of stepped in. I think they put him in the Hall of Fame too soon.
Do you think it was better for Shawn to go out on top as opposed to what we're seeing with someone like Undertaker right now, who certainly is overstayed
Shawn
his
was one of
welcome?
these type of people, they hadn't found a replacement for it. They're trying to put the Miz in that spot.
Oh,
but
you can't even compare.
But is that what I'm saying? That group of guys that came out of that era, it's hard to replace them. Just like, I use a lot of different examples because I'm a wrestler. This is how we talk. We do a lot of comparisons. When John Wayne and Clint Eastwood start making westerns, I mean, they ain't made no good western yet. You don't have the character to fulfill that role. It's like Terminator. I mean, how you going to find someone to play Terminator after Arnold did it? Where after Shawn Michaels laid his mark, it's very hard to find somebody to come along, heartthrob, good-looking, talented. These things, Muhammad Ali never got replaced. Tyson never got replaced. It is certain things that you just can't replace, and it takes a while for something else to come along to pick up where this person left off. It takes time.
It's been 9 years. I think maybe they need to exhaust the search if they haven't found the replacement
Well,
yet.
it don't have to be exactly like him, but someone that could feel, because ever since in wrestling, there always been a Shawn Michaels, or Ric Flair, or Gorgeous George. That image always been a part of wrestling match. So Shawn Michaels was just another image of Ric Flair. Ric Flair was another image of Buddy Rogers and Gorgeous George. The blonde, good-looking, the heartthrob, flamboyant, Buddy Rogers. All, you come along. There was a guy, he was killing up car accident that probably could have done a Bobby Shane, that was in the accident.
Wonder Boy Bobby Shane.
But but it comes along once in a blue moon when you get something like that. When I look at the Undertaker, how you gonna replace that? Another guy, Mankind, Nick Foley. I mean, the different characters and the performance that he performed. The good, the one of us type of wrestler that represent, the average Joe. When you see Nick Foley, you don't see a superstar. You see, hey, that could be me.
That could be my neighbor down the
That could
street.
be my neighbor. That could be me. He talks like he nothing special. But then he come off of a 10, 15-foot stage, So there's just certain things that it takes time. So that's why Shawn Michaels is always going to be, where he is, because they still waiting for another one.
Do you gentlemen think that Shawn made a mistake coming out of retirement back in November at the Saudi Arabia Crown Jewel show? It was not the most, it was good for a man at his age that hadn't wrestled in almost 9 years, but it certainly wasn't the most impressive presentation we'd ever seen.
It's really difficult because you don't want to just be a nostalgia act. And no one can expect someone 10, 15 years later to be what they were before. But there has to be something new added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, I didn't see that particular match. I
You were
still
lucky.
haven't seen that. But when you come back like that, you have to bring something more to it, as well as the memories.
He almost looked like a Q-tip leaping off the ropes. It was kind of odd. Certainly wasn't HBK. Tony, you've experienced it before. You're a professional athlete in your own right, both in the bodybuilding world and professional wrestling. It's tough for guys when they come towards the end of the career. They don't want to give up something they love.
We're getting back to what the doc said. There's one thing that I did experience. Back in the 70s and 80s, I walked out in front of 20,000 people, cool as a cucumber. They took me out of that environment, changed the individual environment, the individual itself would change. Then when I walked out there with Mark Henry and did my first match, and Mark Henry managed me when I had to wrestle against, what's the kid name? Airborne.
Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne. I hyperventilated.
Why was that, Tony?
I'm not used to that.
You were nervous.
No,
You
not
weren't
nervous.
No.
Not nervous.
What was the feeling?
Hyperventilating. Because in an arena, when you in the center of these people, see, all the people in all this, all the people in all that, they next to each other. They like a group. You a singer.
You're talking about in the managerial role.
Yeah, where it's a funny feeling because I was used to it for many years. Didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I could walk out in Madison Square Garden, walk anywhere, relax, cool as a cucumber. Wouldn't even break a sweat. When I walk out there with Evan Bohr, I almost tripped coming down the thing. If you watch me real close.
You do that coming into the studio.
Well, I know that, but I almost tripped going down the thing. I mean, my knees, my legs was made out of rubber. And here's a guy that's been wrestling since '73, but they took me out of that environment. And then they put me back into that environment. They didn't gradually put me in the environment.
They threw you out.
They threw me right out there in front of a crowd of 15 to 10 to 20,000 people all at once. And then that energy hit me. My feet was off the ground. By the time I got to the ring, I was blowed up. I was hyperventilating.
Just from walking to the ring? Really?
It's what you feel, and that's what Shawn felt.
How long?
See, once you take something, just like, for example, I've been lifting weights for, well, give you a prime example. Once a year, my wife plants her garden. So I go out and help her. The next day, I'm sore as hell. But I go to the gym, I work out an hour to an hour and a half every day on the weights, at least 3 days a week with the weights. I do about 4 days of cardio every week. I teach boot camp. I got an aerobic class I teach. I'm in the gym all the time doing physical work. Planting a couple of rose bushes kills me. I'm not used to that. We have to adjust to our environment. You change the individual environment to individual. Shawn is used to being around very few people now, private, at home. He got away from the glamour, the big lights and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere. Now, if they had brought him back and did the same with MT first and gradually working back into it, but when you take a person that take him away from something for a long time and just all of a sudden throw him back in there, he lose that edge, and he's nervous. And it does something to your body. Your whole body feel like a wet noodle. I could barely walk. I was like, Mark Henry said, don't fall down. Don't fall down. He's walking behind me. He said, I'm walking close. If you fall down, I grab you. I get up in the ring. If you watch real close, I'm like, and I did it since 1973. But I was out of the ring with that type of audience since 1990. I finished with the WCW in 93.
Yep.
So I had been in the ring from 1993 all the way up until 2008 in that type of capacity.
On a major league presentation.
In that type of capacity. So,
well, that's a very interesting point.
yeah, it's psychologically, and then when you walk out there, you feel that crowd for the first time, and all eyes is on you. Everybody in the whole building is looking at you. The camera is looking at you. Everything is on you. Now, if you're used to it,
you just go right into the zone.
Right, it's no big deal. But once you take a person out of that and then throw them back in there, it's kind of like you take what the guy that won all the Olympic, Mark.
Spitzer.
Yeah, you take him out of the water for 10 years, they throw him out there, he drown.
Yeah. Well,
This guy won every Olympic medal.
Getting into the
He'd be dog pounded.
No, getting into the zone is something that you can't force yourself
You can't.
to do.
No, it has to grow into you.
Grow into, and if you lose it, it's very hard to get back into that zone.
Yeah.
No matter what sport you're in.
Yeah.
And what about Triple H? There's a guy that he's almost going backwards in his Hall of Fame inductions. Before he has his own single entry, he's going in with the D-Generation X group. Certainly someone, Tony, you knew were around as a talent when you went back in 2008 to 2010. Right. And then maybe at times you've seen now as a executive, so to speak.
Yeah, but he never left that. He never left that.
Well, we're talking about him now personally.
Yeah, well, he
never left the company since 1995.
Yeah. So he used to that excitement.
Yeah.
He's used to that energy.
Well, he hasn't retired yet either. He hasn't gone away.
Never retired, yeah. So he's used to that energy. But you put him in the office and keep him out of that ring, and keep him out of that arena for about a year, You see his knees getting wobbly coming down that thing. It's not an easy thing to do to walk out in front of them people.
Did you ever work Triple H in the independent scene before he went to WCW?
No, I did not. No. I went down to see him train at Killer Kowalski School a couple times, him and Chyna and Amanda Storm.
Perry Satin was there right
that's
around
right.
the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Certainly a deserving Hall of Famer for his participation
yes, he
in that
is.
group.
Yeah, he deserved everything he got. You know, he worked hard. He young and he's been with very loyal to the company for many, many years. You know, hard worker, strong as an ox. Well, he's a lot stronger than what he looks.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. Anytime a man can stand and take 315 and press it over his head for 10 reps, I think that's pretty strong. To take 315
like it
for
was
10.
nothing.
Oh, yeah, like nothing. Strong as a bull.
He seems like someone that will be able to go well into the 50s at this point.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's very, very health conscious. I almost got on his bad side one time.
Let's hear this.
Well, he had the kids, right?
Yeah.
And you should never give anybody a child anything. But me, Tony, I've never been accused of being a tower of intelligence. Let's put it that way.
Maybe one way to put it.
So I went to get me some cake. So I was going to give his kids some cake. I was going to get them some cake. And Mark Henry said, where you going with that cake? I said, I'm going to give it to them kids. He said, don't do that. He said, Triple H will fire you on the spot. He don't like for his kids to eat stuff like that because he's very health conscious.
Right.
And I was going to give the kids something that Triple H never wanted his kids to take.
So you were going to take the free cake from catering and give it to Triple H's son, daughters, I mean. That was your plan of attack. The cake.
Not attack. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to get on the good side of the boss, but that would have got me on the bad side. He would have had a fit. He would have went nuts.
The cake that their grandfather paid for, you were going to give him a slice.
Yeah.
Well, you're all hot, Tony.
Yeah, just no brain. Mark Henry said, do you know what happened? He's like telling me how Triple H is so health conscious. Just like when you make eggs, he take the yolk out. He only eat the egg whites. I see him eat. He don't eat anything. I mean, he's very strict with what his kids eat and what he take. He don't drink sodas, coffee, none of that stuff. He drink tea, but no coffee, no caffeine. You know, a lot of water, a lot of veggies. Don't use salt. You know, the bodybuilding world.
Did you ever talk bodybuilding with him?
No, but I worked out with him and I watched him eat.
Really? Now, I also am familiar that Triple H was familiar with the shoe tape.
Yeah, he liked it.
What did he think of your shoe video?
He liked it.
He did. Now,
yeah.
what was his response to it?
He just liked it. Yeah. He just wanted to see it all the time. He said, hey,
all the time?
Yeah. He give me that day. And we was in Europe, he would get girls to step on my face.
He'd line the women up for you to walk on you.
Yeah, he liked it. Yeah.
Now, where did this walking take place? At the arena?
In most of the gyms.
In the gyms?
No, when he get to the arena, Triple H's all about business.
It was all business. He'd have a little fun
all
at the
his
gym.
All his playing around. But he's a fun-loving guy outside of business. Like when you go to the gym with him, he's very serious about his workout. But when we went out among town and stuff like that, he liked to play jokes on people. He told me one time to take a picture of, we was in Germany, and they had a big eagle. It used to be the Hitler sign up there. Mm-hmm. He said, hey, give me a picture of that, Tony. I said, okay. I get out. He takes off with the bus. I'm running down the street in Germany. And they would stop for me. When I get to the bus, I go to get on, they pull off again. I go run again. But he do it as fun.
It wasn't malicious. It was fun.
No. He just having fun with the boys. He like to have fun with the boys. He's one of the boys. He's one of the boys. But as soon as he put that suit on,
all business.
He's all business.
Dr. Reese is a mental health professional. What is it that you think about D-Generation X that resonated with wrestling fans in the late 90s so much, that made it such a popular act on weekly WWE television shows?
Well, I think it was a time that, people were looking to break down barriers, and it broke down barriers. Mm-hmm. And, you could see a good side of it, you could see a bad side of it, but it resonated with breaking out of the old way, doing something new, doing something challenging, and being edgy. It was a time that being edgy was important, and this was on a big stage. This was not just someone making a couple comments here and there. This was putting it in your face, and people were excited by it. It was something new, something different, and something really edgy.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking about putting something in your face, Tony, Chyna will be inducted this year. Did you ever have an interest in Chyna's shoes?
You know I did.
I do not know that to be fact.
Yes.
You like Chyna's shoes. Why is that?
I think that people should be honored while they're living.
Okay.
The only one who's gonna benefit? She can't benefit from that. It's sad. You know, it's so sad. When you talk to Vader.
Yeah.
He wanted to be in the Hall of Fame more than anything in the world.
He sure did.
Aaron Koloff would call me and said, when I was working with Mark Henry, Tony, can you talk to him? He wanted that so badly. I know a lot of guys that have put in so much time, like we were talking earlier, in this business, and they would love to have that honor. And like you tell me about the Abdullah situation, it was a disgrace that he got that honor and treated it the way he did, when there were so many guys that put in more time than he did, but bled as much as he bled, but never got that opportunity, you know. Chyna, you know, she left out of this world as a very depressed, sad individual. I'll tell you a quick story when I first met her. My first day meeting her back in 1997. They brought me in. They wanted me to do something with Dwayne Johnson at the time. He was wrestling as Rocky Maivia. Right, and they wanted to do something with me. Had me on Monday Night Raw and everything. And something happened where they said they're going in a different route, and I saw the route they went was smart on their behalf. And I went up to her and I said, wow, you look fantastic. I said, you must have worked very hard to get developed like that. I said, you look fantastic. She started crying. So Arnold Skolin was there at the time. He said, I said, Arnold, what did I say wrong? He said, nothing. He said, them tears of joy. He said, that is the nicest thing anyone said to her since she's been here. See, man is used to women being feminine.
Yeah.
Women should not represent strength and power. A woman that represents strength and power make a man feel inferior to her. He don't feel as dominant around her. Chyna would go into a gym and they would have guy be bench pressing like 250 or 300 pounds. Chyna would tap Triple H and say, watch this. And she'd go over there and bench press 315. The guys in the gym would automatically get up, go to the shower. Chyna, I saw her walk through the dressing room one time. I was there in 1997. And she walked through the dressing room. The guy was sitting around with his shirt off. Chyna walked back through the dressing room. Everybody had their shirt back on. She messed with men's ego. That's why, when I told her, so what they do, see, most people light their candles by blowing yours out. So how most men develop their how you say it, Doc? Their manchiness around a woman like Chyna is by breaking her down. Oh, she looked like a man. She looked like a... So she got nothing but criticism. Even when she was in Killer Kowalski school, you know, because she didn't look like she did before she had the surgery on her face. And she was picked on her whole life. I sat and talked to her. And Chyna never had nobody ever say anything nice about Chyna. Never. Never in her whole life. I was the first person to say something nice to her.
Well, I'm sure she remembered you fondly for it, Tony.
She always liked me for that. In fact, she signed some autograph pictures and stuff for me, and she put it on here, my only friend. My only friend.
You were her only friend?
That's what she put on my
Really?
signature. I'll bring it next week.
I'd love to see that.
Yep, that's what she said, because I said nice things to her. She was not used to somebody that was not intimidated by her size and strength.
She didn't intimidate you.
She was very intimidated to a lot of guys. I mean, you know, she was a big world, girl. You didn't feel too manly around her. Let's put it that way.
Well, she was disappointed that she didn't make it into the Hall of Fame while she was living, but do you think it was her own personal choices that maybe she should have held herself accountable for?
How?
Well, she was very difficult to do business with at the end of her run. You obviously had the personality conflict where Triple H wound up with Stephanie McMahon. You know, who's going to be the odd person out in that trio? Stephanie's not going anywhere.
The Hall of Fame should not be for the wrestlers. should be for the fans.
Fair enough.
And once you involve personal feelings into anything, I can have a relationship with, like, George and Sandy Scott. George Scott is my founder. He found me, Sandy Scott. George Scott was my mentor and developer. They didn't get along. But once they got in that ring, you never know they didn't get along. See, when it come down to the fans wanted to see her. That's why Bruno did it. Bruno didn't want nothing to do with wrestling at all. Nothing to do with wrestling at all because he didn't like in the route it was going. But when Triple H talked to him and convinced him that it wasn't for, don't think about you, Bruno. Don't think about the company. Forget about the company. Forget about you. Think about the fans.
Do you know how much Bruno Sammartino got paid to go back and do that?
A couple of million.
Well, I wouldn't say it's only inclusive. He wanted to do it for the fans. If he wasn't getting that payday, he wouldn't have gone back at all.
He wasn't going to make a pay.
Damn right
Well, he
got
felt
paid.
they owe him because
and rightfully so.
Going back to Shea Stadium.
Rightfully so. I'm not going to dispute that.
Where he wouldn't take his pay.
He didn't go just back for the pure reason of smiling to the fans.
Well,
and
that's the offer they gave him to get him to go, but he would have went even if they hadn't given him that offer because Bruno loved the fans. Yeah. He just didn't like the direction that the business was going. He thought the business should have stayed the way it were. But what Bruno didn't see, like a lot of us old farts, the changes in the world. We see things, you listen to old people talk, especially me. Boy, in my day, well, hell, in your days, had horse and buggy. Now, what I'm going to teach a kid how to ride a horse for today? I got to teach them how to drive a car. You know, we get stuck in the past. My mother said you could never move forward by looking back. Like the doc said, it's good to appreciate and respect the past, but if you go this way, you can't be doing this. And we do too much of this and not enough of this.
If Chyna didn't run into the problems she had, what kind of a career do you think she would have had?
Well, a lot of us had problems. Yeah. Chyna's problem was the world, even now, are not used to a woman stronger than a man. It's hard for males to accept second place to a woman in strength.
That was the problem in her career, was that men could not handle the fact that she was strong.
I saw it.
It had nothing to do with her vices and
no,
the
because
videos.
there was a lot of guys that was a lot worse, trust me.
I'm sure, absolutely, absolutely.
And she was a sweetheart and everything. But the thing about it, I saw the guys. I see they put their shirt on. I see guys leave the gym when she walked through the door. I seen it.
Well, you're talking about the average Joe, not fellow WWE.
I seen it in the dress room. The guy
in WWE talents, really.
I seen it. They put their shirt on when she walked. Nobody would take their shirt off around Chyna.
Really?
Yeah, she intimidated the hell out of you, brother.
Have you found that, Dr. Reese, as life has evolved?
Yes.
We're not used to a woman walking around with 18-inch arms and shoulders like this and bench pressing 300-400 pounds.
In her shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that too, but we're not used to that, ain't we, Doc?
I mean,
it's an adjustment for man to take to see a woman that is stronger than you. You ever met a woman stronger than you?
I'm sure I've come across them.
Yeah, but how you felt as a man?
I didn't really give it a second thought, to be honest. But
I've seen it. I've seen it in hospitals and the medical setting.
Yeah.
It's taken decades for women doctors to have the respect of a man doctor.
Really?
Right.
Even the ones who were heads over heels better.
Yeah.
And the old geezers still don't really respect.
Yeah, we got this old-fashioned belief that women should be here, man should be here. It's the war of the genders. We got a certain place that, well, it started with kids. When I was little, I go out and get in trouble. My mom said, well, boys would be boys. We always been excused for bad behaviors, us males. My sister go out and get into trouble. Now you know better. Right away. My mom jumped right on my sister. Us guys, we got away with bloody murder. Because we was men, so they expect us to be screw-ups. But when it comes to the women, when my mother raised my daughter, it's 5 boys and 4 girls. My sister couldn't get away with nothing. I could go right now, which ain't nobody want my old dried up butt now. I could be with this woman, that woman, that woman, that woman. Hey, good. My wife be with this guy, that guy. Oh, you know, she's everything but a child of God. So it's always been a double standard of what a woman should stay in her place. All of her place. I remember when the Women Live movement first started. You know, they said, well, if they want to have the same rights as men, they should get treated like men. That's when we stopped banning dinner, and now it's Dutch. We start pulling out chairs from. We started rebellion. We became rebellious against women because they're going to get paid the same money as we get paid. So it's the same thing in wrestling. Like right now, this is the Wendy Richter. I was there during the Wendy Richter era. When the crowd, with her line, started getting as long as Hogan, when they were doing all the cartoons and everything during that time, I was there. All of a sudden, they took the belt off of her. They didn't take the belt off of Hogan. They took the belt off of Wendy and tricked her out of it, too, with old Muda.
Well, she wanted to hold off on signing a contract. That's not exactly they didn't take the belt off her because she was popular.
But a guy's done it, too, and got away with it. Well, that's my point. If she was a guy, there'd been no problem. They would have negotiated with her. But they figure because she's a woman, it's supposed to be, and she jumped. There's a lot of males today that believe a woman's place is in the kitchen.
I don't think too many people think that in
2019. I live in Maine. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I live in Maine, brother.
A lot more than you think.
Really? Yeah. I live in Maine. Come on
now. I guess
now.
I haven't experienced it. It's probably a good thing.
True. I know guys don't even want to talk about me. I got my shoe fat. I know guys don't even buy no woman no shoes.
Why wouldn't they buy women's shoes?
What's wrong with the shoes you got?
Supposed to
you don't
be
need no new
barefoot?
shoes. They don't take them out to dinner. The first time I went to Maine, my wife got out the car. So I walked around, opened the door for her, and she's going to the door. So as we go in the restaurant, I opened the door for my wife. Well, my wife, she like taking her time. This guy was behind her going into the restaurant. He walked around her and went in front of her, cut my wife off. And I said, well, who you think I'm holding this door for? He said, oh, thank you. Well, you don't know the mother. I see guys go to get their wife in a restaurant and two checks. We call it Dutch.
That's, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Hey.
Chivalry, gone. Gone. Chivalry is gone.
We'll have to have you give some lessons, Tony.
We always felt that a woman got a certain place, and it wasn't here. It was always. It started with the churches, not to knock religion or bring religion into it. You know, when they said that woman's supposed to be man helper. Now, let me tell you what I believe the helper is. If you have to lift a 500-pound barbell, would I get somebody weaker than you or somebody stronger than you to help you lift that barbell?
Stronger.
So in other words, when God created, in order for a woman to help us, she had to be better than us in some type of way. She couldn't be worse. Man, believe it or not, was the, what do you call that, Doc? Would you make a sampler, the promo,
the prototype.
Yeah, we're the prototype. That's why we deal with stuff in such a primitive way. See, women don't cause problems. They solve problems. They were put here as problem solvers. My dad, if something happened, he knew one way of solving it. He'd get that switch and whoop your butt. That's the only way he knew how to solve anything. If he got in the street, if he had a problem, he used his fist. Now, my mom, my wife too, they would argue with you so much that by the time you get through fussing with my wife, you don't even know what the fight was about. They outthink us going and coming. They smarter. They got more inner strength than us. You know how they always fussing on TV about abortion?
Yeah.
If us three got pregnant, abortion would be the First Amendment.
You think so?
I know so. I ain't gonna have. I saw it. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen that?
No, I have not seen that.
20 hours of hollering and screaming and
I thought you meant about a man becoming pregnant. Okay.
There's no way in the world that a man would go through that twice. There ain't a man on the earth. If we would get our tube tied, we would have the pill, We would do everything. We would sew it up before we have another baby. A woman go back again. Have 5 or 6 more. A man go through pregnancy. I guarantee you, if God could reverse roles just for 1 year and make man pregnant, abortion would be the First Amendment. It would be in the Constitution. We would make sure that women didn't impregnate us anymore.
Well, they'd put the DX catchphrase to good use. They'd start to suck it.
Women could withstand pain more than we are, more sensitive than women are.
Yeah.
We don't have the inner strength. Man is stronger than woman externally. We got external strength on women only.
Yeah.
All the other strength that God didn't put into man, he put into woman. Internal strength, determination, willpower. My mother raised 9 kids by herself. Went to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. During World War II, the reason this country is running the way it's running now, because all the men went away to war and women took over and ran the country. As soon as the war was over, we threw them back in the deck-gum kitchen. We feel that a woman is good enough to raise a country, but not good enough to run one. Everything, every person on earth, they learn from a woman. My dad taught me how to do 2 things, spit and fight. My mother taught me how to wipe my butt. My dad didn't know how to do it himself.
All right, well,
so it's that inner strength of a woman.
The inner strength.
The inner strength. Yeah. A woman would go to work all day long, come home and work some more. We come home, hey, what's on the TV? Hey, honey, where one of them there beers? We done. They still moving. The baby get a crash. She's up. My mother went to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, worked until 2, went back at 3, and worked until 11. 5 days a week. 5 days a week, never complained. Right. She said, I gotta be both father and mother to mother and father to her. You take among my race of people, 74%.
Oh, here we go.
Wait a minute. This go back to women
right,
again.
Go ahead.
74% of kids grow up without a father.
I'm going to hear that phrase in my dreams when I'm in my 80s.
But not a mother.
All right.
That's why the best way to fight any black guy will tell you the same thing. You can talk about dad until you blue in the face. But you say something about their mom, you got a fight coming because that's all we ever had. So I understand the strength of a woman because in the black neighborhood, the woman is the backbone of that neighborhood. Yeah. When Germany was attacked, my wife is German. When Germany was attacked, it was the women that held the German people together. It was the women that hold every country together. They are stronger. The only thing man got on woman is size and external strength. And Chyna had the external strength. So she was internally stronger than anybody in the dressing room and externally stronger than anybody in the dressing room. She was a threat to a man's ego.
All right, well, we also have
Dr. Atlas.
Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and X-Pac joining the DX faction. Very interesting.
None of them are going to have kids.
No. Yeah. None of them will have kids.
I guarantee you, we wouldn't be fighting over that pill if we got pregnant. I know I wouldn't. I'd create my own.
Road Dogg was the headliner for the first few live events in MWF history. X-Pac also competed here. I think X-Pac, one of the more underrated WWF superstars of the generation. He's someone, if you looked at it right now, even size-wise, certainly could fit in at the top of the cards, where back in the 90s, when it was more of a big guy's time, he was looked at as a smaller talent. But he was right up there, height-wise, with most of the guys they push now.
Yeah. He was a fantastic talent. Still is.
Yeah.
Still is.
I mean, he's a little long in the tooth. He's closer to the end, wrestling-wise, than the beginning.
He got a lot of good years in wrestling. I worked with him, not to interrupt, but I worked with him on a couple of shows just recently, and he ain't missed a beat.
Yeah, he's still kept himself in great
opportunity.
shape.
You just need opportunity to be highlighted again. That's it. But the ability is still there.
Tony, let me ask you this, since you bring certain things up that get my imagination going. Well, not my imagination, but get me thinking. Now, there was a lot of backlash to Chyna about the videos that she made, filleting, so to speak. Now, X-Pac was also in an adult movie with Chyna. Do you think Chyna got more of a backlash to these videos than X-Pac did.
Of course.
Why? Because she was the woman?
Exactly. Kind of like Martha Stewart went to jail when them other guys went on the yacht.
I thought you were going to tell me Martha Stewart was in a movie like that.
Yeah. It's
The only thing she knows how to fillet is a cake.
Where it's like Janet Jackson got kicked to the curb and Justin Timberlake went to the Grammys.
Fair enough.
Sexism.
Is that what it is?
See, we are openly sexism. We never dealt with it.
Yeah.
It never came up. You know, we dealt with homophobia. We dealt with racism. The one thing that this country had never dealt with is sexism. We never dealt. We see the difference. Like if it was in the 60s, like women liberation. I'm all for it because I remember my mother used to go to work and work the same hours every week. The same hours. Didn't miss a day. But the check was different every week. Now how is that possible? Work the same hours, but the check every week was different. But then my brother, Charles, went to work. She got her a job, you know, at Hotel Roanoke. His check was the same every week. All right. My mother was the head cook. Yeah. She went to culinary school and she got the license of being a chef. They wouldn't call her a chef. They called her the head cook. Her son was making more money and had no degree. They never really, like Doc said, they never really gave women a chance until now. That's why it's so hard to get people to accept that. It's still, to a lot of us guys, that's not a woman's place. Her place is not in the ring. Psychologically, that's how we feel. We are sexist. And
well, I think at the end of the day, talent's talent.
The women's always been more talented. I mean, I used to travel with the women. I mean, we used to go to, the first time I saw was Heidi Lee Morgan. And I worked with Mario Savoti. Yeah. You asked Tony Rumble. Tony was on the tour.
Tony's been dead since 1999. I don't think I'm going to be able to ask him.
But then don't ask him there. Okay. The women's every night, we couldn't follow their matches. It's been like that for years. We couldn't follow their matches. I mean, they had the people going nuts, and me and SD would look at each other and go, now what the hell are we going to do? How are we going to follow that? They've been there for years. They just never got the recognition. Turn Chyna into a guy with a belt like that. She would have been world champion.
I don't know about that.
I do. If she was a guy,
she was freaky because she was a woman. If she was a guy, she wouldn't have been anywhere near the biggest guy on the roster.
But if you turn her into a guy, she would have got a bigger. She was bigger than Shawn Michaels.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Bigger than Rey Mysterio. She was bigger than half the guys in the dressing room. I was there. I saw her. She was 235 pounds and nothing but muscle, brother.
Did you think that the New Age Outlaws were suitable tag team champions?
Oh,
yeah. You were a legacy champion. You were around in the quote-unquote good old days when you and Rocky were the first African-American.
Yeah.
Did you like the
beans and bacon on open fire?
Billy Gunn
biscuits.
Billy Gunn didn't have a heck of a lot of luck as the cowboy and the smoking guns, but they really found a rhythm as the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
They had a lot of pizzazz talking their way to the ring, so to speak, with the open microphone.
Yeah. Well, it worked for them.
It did, sure did.
It worked for the minute, you know. And sometimes you would find the right position for somebody. Just like when Stone Cold Steve Austin was in WCW, they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
They didn't have a clue what to do.
Sort of a mid-card talent.
Yeah, and so you know, all the stars, if you stop and think about it, that was big in the 90s with Vince, they started with WCW. Ronnie Piper, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, they all former, even Warren Summers, they put the belt on him. They put the belt on him and said, now what are we going to do with him? They didn't know what the hell to do with him.
Yeah.
Sting was still the man.
Right.
In 1992 and 93,
yep,
I was there.
Yep.
So they were still going back to Sting, and Ron there with the belt. They didn't know what to do with a black champ. They gave him the belt. After they gave him the belt, now what are we going to do with him?
What should they have done with Ron Simmons?
Well, they didn't have the it wasn't in their mindset. What happened was when Vince got Ron Simmons, Vince did a lot with him. After
he dressed him up as a blue gladiator to start. Yep.
But he did a lot with him. Yeah. And even right now, right now, Ron is not known for being the first black world champion. He learned
one word.
Damn.
Damn.
So Vince took one word and made it bigger than what the WCW doing by making them world champion.
By their championship belt, yeah.
They didn't promote it. They didn't know how to promote a black champion. They didn't know how to promote Ron Summer. They didn't know how to do that. But Vince knew how to promote him in more ways than just one. See?
Fair enough.
And that was the idea with Vince knew how to handle talent. And WCW and all these other guys, like Vince said, he beat Ted Turner because Ted Turner was in the wrestling business. He said he won because he's in the entertainment business.
I don't think Ted Turner really had 100% focus on wrestling. He had a media empire he was running. It's not like Vince and Ted Turner were going head-to-head, tit for tat. I mean, Ted Turner had dozens of different empires he was looking over. Vince McMahon only had WWE.
This was Ted Turner's biggest mistake.
All right.
And every promoter, big mistake. And you can ask all the old-timers. I hear this my first year in the business. Wrestlers make the worst promoters. When Dusty Rhodes was booking, he had the book. Anybody that looked like you're gonna get halfway as popular as Dusty, he's gonna kill you off. Jerry the King Lawler,
the King of Memphis.
He was the promoter. He was the booker. He was the king because if you came in and people would cheer your name, he gonna beat you and get rid of you. They put themselves above the business. The reason Vince beat them guys, because where Turner made his biggest mistake, he put guys like Dusty, Bill Watts, all these wrestlers. His biggest mistake was getting rid of Ole Anderson.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah, but he was a non-selfish wrestler.
Okay.
Ole was all about the dollar. He didn't care about the glory. Guys that was into the glory and winning matches, he said, "You glory happy." Ole was sacrifice. He was like Vince. The only time when Ole got in the ring with me, he put me over. He get in the ring with Dusty. He put him over. He put everybody over when he had the belt. You know, after he broke up with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, but he when Vince go in the ring, he don't go in the ring to beat up his wrestler. He went in the ring to get beat up by his wrestler. How many times did Stone Cold beat up on Vince? You know, he did what it took to get the business over. And that's why a lot of these wrestlers went out of business. Like when Bill Watts had the book, who was he pushing? Eric Watts. When Dusty had the books, who was he pushing? Dustin.
Yep.
Even Nick Goudas had a son, and we used to hate
I heard
wrestlers.
he was very lousy.
His lousy, never was trained, and he would do in the ring and do this. Daddy said, "Take a bump." Daddy said, "Take a bump." And guys were flying all over the ring.
He'd say, "Daddy said, take a bump."
Now he tell you.
Really?
Yeah. In Memphis, Chattanooga. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Old Nick
Tennessee,
Goudas was his name. Nick Goudas, yeah.
I know Nick Goudas.
Yeah, me and Tommy had to wrestle in a six-man with him, and we out there, we having a match, and they said, "Give him the hot tag." He getting the hot tag, they throw these.
All right, well.
And guys flying all over the ring for him.
And
but he was the son. He was the son. He was the son of the promoter, and that's how it is in every. When it's it was like a dynasty, and all these territories died for the same reason. The Von Erichs, same reason. Everything was wrapped around.
Look at the McMahons, not for nothing. I mean, Shane and Stephanie certainly have received a far bigger push than they probably would have in the traditional professional wrestling spotlight. Shane going out dressed in his pajamas.
Not really. I mean, no. It was a different. I mean, Jerry the King was a world champion. I mean, I ain't seen that belt around Shane's waist. I ain't seen it around Stephanie. Stephanie could make herself the woman champion.
Actually, she did. She was the women's champion.
Huh?
She was the women's champion.
Come on now.
She beat Jackie Moore.
When did that happen?
2000.
You making that up?
No, I wouldn't lie to you.
Stephanie did that?
Yes.
Then who beat her for the title?
I think Lita.
But she didn't keep it.
Jerry
the King got that belt. It never left his waist.
No. Well,
She probably was a transport.
I think Jerry Lawler held that Memphis title about 150 times.
He's probably still champion.
Probably still the champion down in Memphis. Yeah.
You kidding me?
Oh boy, they're giving me signs. I have no idea what that says, Dr. Reese. Can you read it?
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
It says 8. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's our good friend Rorschach, one of our ambassadors in the back.
That's why Vince beat on
Tony, the music is playing. It's signaling for a timeout. How will DX be remembered?
Who?
How will Degeneration X be remembered?
Not at all.
They won't be. None of them.
No.
Not even your friend Chyna.
No. Only one person going to be remembered.
Who?
Triple H.
Not Shawn Michaels.
Not in Generation X. Like, who were the three people with the Supremes?
I don't know.
One.
I have no clue who was in the Supremes.
They would say, people can't name all the Jackson 5. They just know Michael. Yeah. Once the lead person leave that group die off. Nobody would know who was involved with the Supremes. They know Diana Ross. They remember Diana Ross, but they don't remember who the other two girls were. They remember Michael Jackson, but they don't remember who the Jackson 5. Can you name the other 4?
No.
See my point? They started off that way. It ain't how something starts, it's how it ends.
It ended, right. All right, well, we're about ready to end this segment,
the ending, not the beginning.
It's been an interesting one. As we look at the 2019 Hall of Fame ceremony, we've got, we covered a lot, Dr. Reese, in this one segment. All right, we definitely need a timeout. We'll be right back with more. Stand by.
See the moments.
Generation X invades WCW.
You'll always remember. Like never before.
Occupy Raw has taken over.
With Raw, the first 25 years, packed with rare photos, profiles of your favorite superstars, and so much more. From the very first Raw to the 25th anniversary, it's the ultimate guide to WWE's flagship show. Raw, the first 25 years. Available now. They're ready. Ready to take their rightful place amongst the literary greats. Who, you ask?
The New Day!
That's who. It's the Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. It's the feel-good story of the rise of the New Day. Loaded with games, trivia, coloring pages, and so much more. The Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. Available now, online, or wherever books are sold.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to the Season 3 kickoff of Memories and Legends. I'm Dan Marotti, Dr. David Reese, Tony Atlas, and
Tony Atlas with the chicken wings.
A wide variety of chicken wings in his bag. That's all right. He's having a little fun. He's hungry. He's a growing boy, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's what your mother used to say to you.
Yep.
All right. As the 2019 Hall of Fame class continues, I want to talk about a wonderful human being that's being inducted. Tony, someone I believe, Dr. Reese, you've gotten to know through the Cauliflower Alley Club, Miss Sue Aitchison.
Sue, they put her in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I guess you didn't know that.
No, I did not.
She's receiving the Warrior Award this year.
She well deserved.
Yes. Someone that has certainly gone above and beyond since 1986 in WWE. You want to talk about all of the Make-A-Wish meet and greets that John Cena has done, more than any athlete or celebrity in any genre. Sue has set up over 6,000. 6,000 kids. That's almost like an arena filled with kids. Each one of them getting to have a day with the WWE superstar, amongst all the other great work she does. She's been a great friend to us since 2001. She's helped with even some of the things you've even seen here in the studio on this set before. A great, great human being, Dr. Reese.
She put them lights up there?
No, she hasn't got that. Well, that'll be next month.
Well, I didn't.
After she gets the payoff for the Hall of Fame, she'll be on the released list, and she'll be looking for her next endeavor in life.
Well, as long as she don't do what Abdullah did.
Sell her ring?
Sell the ring.
You're really offended by Abdullah the Butcher.
I really am offended. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt.
Well, for the fans that don't know, we taped an episode a little earlier on that you'll see later in 2019 about some of the great brawlers that are in the WWE Hall of Fame. And Tony was unaware of the fact that Abdullah the Butcher, who never actually wrestled for WWE in any era, received a Hall of Fame ring and then sold it.
Sold it, what, about a week later?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, he needed the money, apparently.
No, he don't need no money. He's just disrespectful.
Is that what he is?
Uh-huh.
All right, well, from the man eating his chicken wings. But we won't go there, Tony. You're hungry. You've had a long day, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
But if somebody honor you like that, it's like Gary just gave me these chicken wings. Now what? He done went through all that trouble bringing them chicken wings all the way from Tewksbury, Mass.
I think it was from Petroni's about a half a block away, but you know what? It's a better story if they came from Tewksbury.
And if I don't thank him, and show enjoyment in these wings, he's gonna be disappointed he did it. And
He would be, yeah. I know I would.
My mother should always be grateful to those that do something for you. He should be grateful that they done that for him. I mean, Vince gave him a title that he could carry for the rest of his life. He's going to be affiliated with the WWE for the rest of his life. He's affiliated. They made him a part of them. They invited him, they threw open the door, said, come on in. Even though you didn't help build this country, you made a great contribution to the world of wrestling. They recognize him for his contribution to the wrestling world, even though he didn't did any contribution to Vince, let's say personally or
to any McMahon
directly, but he still made a great contribution, and Vince figured he should be recognized for that. And what that big sweat hog did.
And he was also trying to entice the fans to go to his restaurant that were in town for the Hall of Fame ceremony.
He'll pay it up. He'll pay it up.
I'm not making it up. You can't make some of these things up. It's just as you, I'll tell someone someday we did this episode as you ate chicken wings, twirling it around in teriyaki sauce. All right, anyway, Sue is just, I'm very, very happy. I hate to say it because, you know.
She's a wonderful person.
I don't think you know what an SMS message is on the cell phone.
No, I don't swear.
All right, well, I received the little alert. I was afraid that she was actually dead when I saw it real quick because, you know, they send those messages out. I couldn't think, why would they send out a message about her? I quickly looked, and then it said she's receiving the Warrior Award for the Hall of Fame. And
Good for her.
It brightened my entire week, Tony. I smiled from ear to ear. She's about as good of a human being as you'll meet in professional wrestling, sports entertainment. I mean, you must remember her from '86.
Yeah, she wore size 9 shoe.
Did Sue walk on you?
She wore size 9.
Now, how did you get that information from her?
I could tell by looking.
Really? Mm-hmm. Now, if I asked Sue what size shoe she wore, you think she'd, other than finding it very odd,
she wore 9.
That I'd want to know what size shoe.
Size 9.
She's a size 9.
Size
all right.
9.
Did Sue have nice shoes?
Yep.
She is from Europe, either Scotland or England. I'm not sure which one.
Nope. Sears.
She's from Sears?
But no shoes.
Oh, okay.
From Sears.
Well, that's what I mean. Maybe she had a European style to her shoes. No. Sears shoes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I have to...
Only America wear bulky shoes. European wear more slender type shoes.
Classy.
The more slender. They don't wear bulky shoes. American, that's how you go tell America and Europe. We wear bulky shoes. Look at them clogs. If you look at clogs they wear, the big rubber things.
What's a clog?
It's a shoe that they wear now. It's called a clog.
Clog. C-L-O-G.
Clog. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's the exact same shoe.
We need the interpreter out. We need the interpreter without the chicken wings. Who am I kidding?
There's a use for me.
The first person I saw in the pair of them was Minnie and Mickey Mouse.
In clogs?
Mm-hmm. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. Mm-hmm. Mickey Mouse wear clogs.
All right,
Well, Minnie, that's why people like them. Make them look like cartoons.
Yeah. Well, maybe Sue will have on a pair of clogs at
I
the
hope
Hall
not.
of Fame.
I saw
induction
Mark
next
Henry in
week.
some of them one time. And Mark was so heavy, he was walking on the side of them bad boys.
He was too heavy for them?
He was killing them clogs, man. You can hear him screaming, "Take me off!" Mark Henry's so heavy that when he walked, the shoe would lean over to the side.
How?
How
How would the shoe lean over to the side? This way?
It was like this, like this. Yeah.
I don't.
When Mark walked, his feet would go this way, that way. I said, Mark, you're killing them shoes.
Sometimes these
But Mark
episodes
Henry
go
had
in
nice
unique
toes. You know
directions.
he had nice
That's
toes.
good. I'm glad, Mark. He has Hall of Fame toes to go along with his Hall of Fame career. So, Tony, any interesting memories of Sue? Again, a class act, has done so much for everybody. Someone you still interact with to this very day about different
Well, one thing that I interact with Sue was always very, very impressed. She asked me to help her to put together some artwork, and she was in charge of the art program. Mm-hmm. They had an art show at WrestleMania every year, and all the proceeds from the artwork went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So she worked very, very hard with the Goodwill Ambassador. She was run with that with Ted DiBiase and everybody when they were Goodwill Ambassador. So a lot of work that Sue Aitchison was only people to connect to the business really know her. She one of the hardest working people in the WWE, but all of her work that she had done over the years are not known among the public.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So she like a person that have made a great contribution to wrestling to help us guys a lot, put together a lot of stuff, work hand in hand, her and Linda McMahon, and put together pretty much most of the stuff, the charity and the events and put together stuff for people. But like as you said, she always was behind the scene.
Right.
And this is the first time in the world
we'll get to know her.
Yeah,
get to know our great friend.
Going to get to know one of the foundations
of the company.
She's a strong advocate of the foundation of the company.
She was there before there was a Titan Towers.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Riggs.
No, I only had the
Chime
pleasure.
in while he has a bite.
No, I only had the pleasure of meeting her for a length of time once, but that was very seriously in reference to a program I was working on to support mental health for athletes, to deal with people who were in trouble. And she invited me to Connecticut, and we sat down and we talked and helped out get our program moving. First-class human being, and even what she has done with us for the past 18 years is I owe her a lot of thanks, and hopefully we'll be able to pay her back some way, somehow. Much like Tony over there, looking like a pit bull that found a steak with these chicken wings. I'm waiting for you to tie your hand behind your back like you're bobbing for apples and just put your head in. And
well, you know, man don't live on bread alone.
There you go. What about the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, Tony, the Honky Tonk Man?
Well, is he going in?
He's going in this year, too.
It's about time.
One of the great heels of the 1980s.
It's about time.
There was a guy that he drew with everybody, no matter who he worked with on top, whether it was his feud with Macho Man that did big numbers, to someone that was more limited in the ring like Brutus Beefcake. He had a big run with Jake Roberts. He had about as memorable of a match as you could get out of Ultimate Warrior.
That's right.
Snooker he had a big feud with.
Yeah.
Everyone Honky worked with as a signal. It wound up doing very good business.
Yeah. Well, he's a hell of a piece of talent.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, too. I got a lot of respect for him. And like I said, when you say he's going in this year, it's about time.
Absolutely.
Long overdue.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say he was a little on the difficult end to try and interact with, or I think maybe he wanted more money than the going rate. But you know what? At least he's in there now.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's home.
Yeah.
He's home.
Well, he got invited there a couple of times before.
Yeah.
He told me he was booked.
Right.
He was.
He showed up one time to get his $3,000 to induct Coco Beware, though.
Oh, he did?
He did. He inducted Coco, which was nice.
Oh.
It'll be interesting. Maybe Jimmy Hart will induct him this year, and I'm just still fascinated watching you eating these chicken wings while we try and talk about the What a way to kick off season 3 of this show. And we're going to hear from Oscar talking about being hazed and taped to a urinal by his fellow WWF superstars. So what a weekend of stories we're going to have, President.
Now, Oscar did what now?
Oscar from Men on a Mission.
Right.
He, in the locker room, some of the guys weren't a big fan of his, and they duct taped him to a urinal, and they paddled him.
No.
Yes, he was paddled.
We'll go have mercy. What would I do that for?
Well, you're going to have to watch the episode.
I will.
Oscar has quite a story to tell, and he told it in his own way, Dr. Reese. I know you're familiar with it.
Oscar tells everything in his own way.
He does. He has a very unique style. Speaking of unique styles, when
you
it comes
believe him, Doc?
No comment.
A little over-exaggerated, I would imagine.
We never exaggerate anything.
You don't think there was paddling going on, Tony?
No.
You don't think he was paddled? Now, why do you think he'd make up the fact that he was taped to a urinal and paddled?
That's something you're really proud of.
I wouldn't, that's what I mean. I wouldn't have, if I was going to create that story, I would have said, they tried to tape me to the urinal, but I overpowered 3 guys, and I taped them to the urinal, and I paddled them. I wouldn't tell the story as if I was the victim if it wasn't true.
I try to avoid stories about your
Yeah.
actually.
Well, you know,
See, there's a lot of people right now. They say I got grease and stuff everywhere, man.
that's all right. This is going to be. I can't wait to see the feedback on this episode, where Tony spent half the time going through a brown paper bag, eating chicken wings, and I don't know what you have there. What's that? A napkin?
No, he got a piece of this here bread there.
Oh, free bread. All right.
Yeah, I
Well,
got eat some bread, man.
take a bite. All right. So where did we leave off? Tori Wilson, unique styles in wrestling. I don't understand the Tori Wilson thing, Dr. Reese. What about you?
You know, it's an area that I don't have a lot of information about.
No,
So
what
I'm
happened
going to
with
pass.
Tori? I
I'm
don't
going
know
to pass
nothing
on
about
that.
She's going into the Hall of Fame, Tony. Do you think she's a Hall of Fame talent? She's a very pretty lady, a very nice lady. She was around for a while, but can you think of anything memorable she really did?
Like I said, getting back to what I was saying, there's
Yeah.
so many women.
Yeah.
Women that should be there. George Graber, for example. You know George
Yeah.
Graber. You know, what the other lady?
What about Leilani Kai?
That's who I was going to say.
Wouldn't
Melania
she be
Cloud.
great to go in?
Yeah.
The main event or the women's title match at WrestleMania 1?
You got so many that. Corey, I don't think she put in enough time.
She was there a long time. She just didn't really do anything. What did she do that was memorable?
Yeah, but you got women that wrestle in Japan and all over the
Well, I don't think they really care about the women wrestling in Japan.
Well, I mean, they wrestle everywhere, like the NWA, AWA, been in the business for years and really helped build a foundation for this. And it looked like they're only picking, when it comes to the women, the people that is with them. You see, that's why I say, we don't have a world champion no more. How can you?
We have a universal champion.
How can you?
It's bigger than the world. It's the whole universe.
No. How? When you wrestle nobody outside your yard.
All right, fair
That's
enough.
like me saying I'm the toughest guy in the neighborhood, but I don't wrestle nobody but my brothers.
Well,
see, when Harley Race was champion,
he went around the world, right?
Right, but he wrestled people in other organizations. Right. The only way you're going to create a world champion in today's environment, the WWE champion have to take on the Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah.
He had to take on the Japanese New Japan champion. Yeah. See, Harley would go to Japan to defend his title in Japan. He would go to Puerto Rico with Carlos, with the Puerto Rico champion, and take on the champion there. He didn't just wrestle people within his own neighborhood, within his own family. It's hard to be champion when you don't wrestle nobody.
And you say this, share this great knowledge with 2 hands filled with bread.
Huh?
I cannot wait to see the fan feedback with this meal you've had.
We don't have a world champion.
No, we don't have a world champion.
You need
anymore.
more than one organization.
Right.
If you don't fight nobody, but just people, it's kind of like we say we the greatest army in the world, but we got the Army and Navy playing each other, and they never go outside the country to fight nobody. They fight each other here. You have to go out and abroad and take on other challengers. And when they eliminated other challengers, there's no challenge to the WWE now. There's no challenge. So I'm glad that Triple H created the NXT.
Yeah.
Because that create another company.
Right.
So when you say you got a world champion, that champion take on NXT champion.
He could, yeah.
And if he go to Japan, and then he be doing what Ric Flair did. He be doing what Dory Funk did.
Traveling the world. All right.
All of it, like Flair was out of Charlotte, Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
But he went to Texas to world class.
Yeah.
You know, he went to put up Capital Sport. He fought champion from other organizations. The champion now, like, God bless him, and the whole time John Cena was champion. Think about it. How many matches, how many people he fought? 2, 3?
A little more than that, Tony, but I get the point.
Maybe 5 at the most.
Maybe not the quantity of talent that other world champions
In a year's
have, but I mean,
time.
John was a 16-time world champion. He faced
but
some
how
variety.
many, out of 16 times,
You're
When
saying
you
he
look-
had 3 different opponents when he was the champion 16
Pretty
times?
much. Not a lot.
All right. Well, what about Tori Wilson, Tony? Do you think she's Hall of Fame worthy? Yes or no, brother? Come on, eat your bread.
I don't know her that well.
Well, you were around her for a period
I know,
of time.
but I don't
Do
know.
you think, not as a human being, but as a talent, was she Hall of Fame worthy?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know her.
Did you ever see anything she did?
No.
You were on event she was on.
I didn't watch her match.
But I'm going to guess the answer's no. If you worked there and can't think of anything she did.
I stayed away from that woman.
All right. Well, did you like Tori Wilson shoes?
No, because I didn't want to go stay with Bill Cosby.
Stay with Bill Cosby?
Yeah. I stayed. It was in the contract, believe it or not.
You couldn't.
Stay away from her.
All right. Well, if she was not a co-worker, would you have liked her shoes?
No, she's too little. I don't like them little women.
You like a bigger woman?
Yeah, I like women got some meat on them.
Like Chyna?
Yeah.
All right.
Now, them little women, little skinny women make my skin itch.
Really? Is that how you look at them?
No, they make me itch.
Itch, like little mosquitoes.
Like mosquitoes, yeah, they do like little mosquito, like
Yeah.
Jimmy the Cricket or something.
Yeah.
You know, having Jimmy the Cricket walk on you, man, that don't seem too exciting to me, you know.
Yeah.
Little mosquito-looking woman.
What about Bret Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation?
They should have long overdue.
Well, Bret's already been inducted once.
Right.
WWE has gone the route of many two-time inductees this year.
Yeah.
But Jim and Bret Hart were certainly one of the great tag teams in company history.
Long overdue. I just wish that a Jim had lived to see it.
Very sad. What got me, Tony, and again, I'm not involved in any decision-making process, I don't like Jim Neidhart personally because he screwed over this company royally at one point. But as far as his place in WWE history goes,
He earned it.
He earned it.
He earned it.
Was there a personal reason why they didn't induct him while he was alive? That I do not know. But I know Bret was very vocal last year saying it would probably be the last chance they could get Jim in when he was alive, and they didn't do it, Dr. Reese. What's the psychology behind that? Teach me.
Greed.
Greed.
Greed and just vengeance.
So maybe, well, he did, I think he threw a television monitor at Vince once, didn't he, in the office?
I don't know what
He
he
went
did.
around for that, yeah. And he beat up a stewardess on an airplane, and Vince had to
I
cough
know
up.
that.
Yeah. He had to cough up quite a bit of money to get Jim out of trouble and make the house show, but
Yeah.
maybe that had something to do with it. But certainly he belonged. For what that company is, he was a major contributor for many, many years during their glory days. Just too bad he won't be there to enjoy it. I'm sure it'll mean a lot to his daughters.
I like for him to see him induct S.D. Jones.
Tony, why do you think S.D. Jones should be put in the Hall of Fame?
Well, S.D. Jones was one of the guys that he was in Johnny Ross in the same boat, and they put Johnny Ross in.
All right, you know what? That's fair enough.
They in the same boat, and they put Johnny Ross. S.D. was one of the people that made people like me look good.
Right.
And he was very loyal to the company. 16 years he put into that company, you know. He put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the company. And right now today, you mentioned his name, S.D. Special Delivery Jones. He's just as well known today as Tori Wilson, if not more.
You think as many fans know S.D.
They know
Jones
S.D.
as Tori
yeah,
Wilson?
yeah, oh yeah.
All
right. Yeah, a lot of people
Tony,
still remember
I
old
know-
S.D. Jones.
I know he's your
You
friend.
ask some of these people, don't you remember S.D. Jones? They all remember S.D. He was Chief J. Strongboat said S.D. Jones are the most popular job boy he ever known. Everybody knew it.
And you
S.D.
think
was
that's
older.
Hall of Fame worthy?
Yes.
Being a popular jobber.
Well, being a one-time battle royal in got you in the Hall of Fame.
Who are you talking about?
The refrigerator
Well,
period.
he's the celebrity wing, quote
It
unquote.
don't matter, he's there.
I'm talking about people that were inducted for being wrestlers. Now, you saying Johnny Rods, that's a pretty good analogy because he was the heel version of S.D. Jones. He was a
Got whooped
jobber.
every night. Yep. Put guys over. That was his job.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
SD. And SD, more people remember SD than remember Johnny Ross.
SD had the action figure made of him by LJN.
That's right.
Two different color shirts. One of them's a
That's right,
collector's
that's right,
item.
that's right. And then him and Paul Roma was a hell of a team in Australia and Hawaii and overseas. They had a good run. Him and Paul Roma was tag team partner for years before they put Paul Roma with Hercules Hernandez.
Yeah. Well, Paul Roma's big run was with.
Yeah,
longer run was with Jim Powers as the young stallion.
Hercules Hernandez was a big star for minute time. He's not there. Paul Roma.
Hercules would be fitting. I don't think Paul Roma's a Hall of Fame talent.
He did his share.
He was an undercard guy, Tony. If you induct someone like him, you have to induct everybody.
Not really.
Not really.
No, because he made his contribution. See, what I'm looking at is the one that put people in there that they did all that.
What?
They put, they put people
Sorry
there,
to put it like that, but
they put people there that they didn't do all that. Like Mario Mancini.
He's not in the. Oh, you say he think he should?
Yeah.
You think Mario Mancini should be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Why not?
Because it's not a Hall of Fame when you start putting guys like that in.
What was wrong with Mario Mancini?
He was a great undercard enhancement talent.
Right.
But I don't think that's where a Hall of Fame should be. And I'm not saying that there's. If it was up to me, I would have never put in a lot of the talent that's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you know what? The way you put it, if you're a celebrity, you only had to perform one night, and you get in. If you're a wrestler, you perform for 20 nights, and you're not worthy.
I wouldn't put the celebrities in. But that, again, is my opinion.
Because, Snoop Dogg.
Again, I wouldn't put the celebrities in the Hall of Fame. That's my opinion.
Now, I'll tell you, there is one celebrity I'm glad they put in.
Who?
President Trump. He do a hell of a clothesline, brother.
Well, you know what?
The clothesline got him in, brother. When he clotheslined Vince, cut his hair, he's in like Flint. And he made more appearances
More than
than
just
Snoop
one.
Dogg,
Yep.
more appearances. So President Trump is probably the only celebrity that they put in the Hall of Fame that I'd say that should not be. Because he go all the way back with us.
To the 80s.
When we used to do shows at his casino with Gorilla Monsoon, he remember Monsoon brought wrestling to Atlantic City, and New Jersey. So he got a long history with the WWE because he's always been in the entertainment field.
Well,
a lot of it wasn't done on camera, and it's kind of like Sue Aitchison. A lot of her work was not done on camera, but nevertheless, she made a great contribution to the business.
You've identified her by 4 different last names in the show, if anyone's counting. Anywhere from Sue Aitchison to Sue Akers, and what's the next? Green Acres? But anyway, this is the place to be. I'm really gone, Dr. Reese. Where were we? The Heart Foundation?
Heart Foundation.
The Heart Foundation. Well, again, Jim was pretty much an asshole to a lot of people. A lot of the boys like to get high and drink with them. The daughters miss him. Anything else that I just missed, Tony?
Now that
him and the Sheik said he was the only one that could hang with them at the hotels after the show. Now that's quite a title to have around your waist.
Now you just surprised me by what you said.
What did I surprise you with?
In all my years in the business since 1973, I never knew that the wrestler was involved with drugs and alcohol. Never knew that.
Well, this is an enlightening program.
Wow, that's shocking.
Is it an impressive title, though, for the Sheik to actually admit that there was someone that could hang with him?
Who, Jim?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the Sheik is trying to take something on base.
You think the Sheik's putting him over?
Yeah, he's putting him over. Yeah.
No one could hang with the Sheik.
Brother, you got a little medicine for the Sheik, brother.
Well, did I ever tell you the story? You know,
I mean, when I see
we're on a roll tonight.
When I see a guy smoke crack on a 747, 35 miles, and then we pushed a button while he lighted his crack pipe. We pushed a button and asked the stewardess for a drink and a match and a light. Hey, help me light my pipe.
Did I ever tell you this?
She told him, she said, you know you can't do that here, sir. What do you tell the Sheik he can't do it? In my country, this is good medicine in my country. You jabroni, you bring the Sheik match. Hey, bring Sheik drink too. I seen him do that.
Did I ever tell you
They would have landed the freaking plane, kicked me off, and threw me in jail. With the Sheiks, when they got him a lighter and gave him a drink. On a 747.
Did I ever tell you that the Sheik did medicine over in that corner right there? I think the statutes of limitation have expired.
Yes.
Well, you know how he is being a fiend when it comes to his medicine.
Oh.
And he had it brought to the studio, unbeknownst. And instead of just being handed it, he decided to take it out, light it up.
Right here.
Right in the corner where the table is over there.
That's right. Something about the Sheik people don't know, too. As soon as he get to his room, he take off all of his clothes.
Yeah, well, I've experienced that, too. I've experienced that, too.
Right
and I wasn't expecting that either. Much
sitting
like
around
with the
smoking his
medicine over
pipe
there.
with no clothes on, and then when somebody knock on the door, he would get right up, don't think about wrapping no towel around him or nothing, and go right to the door and throw the door open, stand there with no clothes on.
In November of 2006, him and I got flown to a television appearance he got booked on in Toronto. And I don't know what these people were thinking, but instead of getting us 2 hotel rooms, they got us a 2-bedroom suite. So we had our own bedrooms, but so I'm sitting in, I guess, what would be considered the den area, and he had these Middle Eastern people bring him, as he likes to call it, his medicine from the A to the Z.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Martha Stewart and the cooking ingredients. The ingredients were everywhere. So, and you know how bad the Sheik's feet are.
Yeah.
So about a half an hour later, the Sheik gets up. He goes into the room. He gets naked. He gets up on the bed, very slowly now, and he starts doing Hindu squats nude on the bed. And I'm sitting here looking in the den. I got to be like, there are no words to describe what I'm seeing right now.
He walks around naked all the time.
I didn't know I was going to get the naked Sheik in Toronto.
He take every bit of his clothes off.
Then that
night,
leave
it, but everything but his shoes.
Then that night we went to meet more medicine friends of his. I think it was like an Iranian steakhouse. Now this was a couple of days before Thanksgiving. I felt like I was in that movie with Steve Martin and John Candy in the back of the cab. The Sheik wanted more medicine, so the poor cab guy, he started going, talking to him. And the guy, no, I don't do that. No, I can't do that. I love my hashish. I love my cocaine. I love my heroin. I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
Oh, no.
We're going to go to jail. I'm not going to be home for Thanksgiving. But luckily, we didn't go to jail. That was a memorable trip for all the wrong reasons. I got nude Sheik. I got high Sheik. I got all kinds of Sheik.
Maybe you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Who knows? And then I get Tony eating his bread. So, I mean, I've certainly had a life of experiences.
And chicken wings.
Else. A Hall of Fame quality
Thanks to
life.
Gary there.
Thanks to our good friend Gary.
That's right.
Last but not least, Tony, this one kind of stirred the pot on one of our talk shows we did last week. Harlem Heat is being inducted, which makes Booker T a 2-time Hall of Famer, along with his brother Stevie Ray. Any thoughts on Harlem Heat, Tony? You think they're a Hall of Fame-worthy team?
I know it's pissing Rocket Johnson off.
Why?
Because we the only tag team that ain't been went in yet.
What?
Well, Rocket, when I talked to Rocket, Rocket said, they're bringing all them guys back with the tag team. They ain't brought us back yet as a tag team. See, most of them went in as a singer, then they came back in the tag.
So you think you and Rocky should be 2-time Hall of Famers?
I say every time they do that, it pisses Rocket off. Because he see, like Booker T go in and they bring him back in the tag, then Ric Flair go in and they bring him back with the 4 horsemen, and he's seen it. See, a lot of times with people, some people see things they ignore it. Some people see things like Rocky always been, he came from a different environment. He come from Canada.
Yeah,
so
very different.
Yeah, he always see them doing things, and then after a few years, like for example, people don't realize this, Rocket Johnson's career ended in 82.
82?
When we dropped the belt, what year was that?
84.
84.
But his career ended in 82.
84, his career ended. Vince never called him back for nothing. Never used that man for nothing.
And what was the reason, Tony? Was he difficult to deal with?
No.
Did his run come to an end?
No, he wasn't
nothing else
difficult.
for Rocky to do?
Rocket, I would say Rocket and Thunderbolt Patterson were the same.
Opinionated.
Well, not opinionated. They just...
Outspoken.
Not outspoken. That's not the term.
You tell me.
Rocket felt he was equal, not less.
He felt he was equal to the other wrestlers in the locker room. And
Not less.
From his perception, WWF did not feel he was an equal.
No. No. And I think Rocky felt that his color had a lot to do with that.
Do you think it did? Or was it his personality? Was it his talent?
Well,
I don't think he was as good as you.
Well, that's how he felt. Thunderbolt Patterson was I talked to Thunderbolt a long time. You know, I went out there, got drunk one time with Tommy Rich and Bob Armstrong.
Yeah.
And we all came to the TV in Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday morning, and we had the worst hangover you want to see in your life. And Thunderbolt came up to me and said, "Kid, I don't want you going out with them guys. And this guy, you know, don't get into the race stuff." He said, "You can't do what them white guys do, Tony, and keep your job." Then later on, I went to WWF.
F.
Yep. I went out, parted with a bunch of guys, started missing some shows with a bunch of guys. Greg Valentine, I rode with them. I was in the car with a bunch of guys. We get to the building, Vince walked up to me and said, "Tony, I got to make an example of you. Not Valentine, not Slooker, me." And if I thought about what Thunderbolt told me, there's certain things even now. I live in Maine and work with a lot of kids, do a lot of stuff. I got a proclamation from the state of Maine. One day a guy come in the gym up in where I live at, and his daughter wanted to talk to me. And I said, "I'll talk to her later." Guy said, "Hey, what do you think? You too good to talk to my daughter?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm working with a student here. I'm working." I said, "Let me finish what I'm doing. I'll come talk to your daughter." He wanted to fight me.
You wanted to fight you?
Wanted
Really?
to fight me in the gym. Wanted to pick a fight in the gym. Started pushing on me and everything. Wanted to put the fight in the gym. I got called into the office. He got apologized to. I see it all the time.
Really?
I drive home some nights. One of the policemen, a good friend of mine, said, "Tony, don't get off at the Lewiston exit. Get off at the Auburn exit." I said, "Why?" He said, "You're a black guy in a rental car." Like people up in Maine, they always make this joke. They say, "Stay out of trouble." And my wife, she got the best answer. She said, "As old as we, how much trouble you think we could get into?" But I told the guy, I said, "Black guys don't get in trouble, they get shot." Because I go by what I see. And that's primarily what Vince told me. He said, "I'm gonna make an example of you. No one else." And they did worse. They almost cost him his company. You know that. When you look at the history of these guys, Hacksaw and them getting busted on the interstate with cocaine and
Well,
stuff.
Duggan didn't use the cocaine. That was the Sheik.
They was
He had
together.
weed.
Nevertheless, they got busted with drugs.
Well, I'm sure they looked at the police
They got
reports.
busted with drugs on the interstate, in the newspaper and everything. Still made money. Tony Atlas only missed shows. And they missed shows too, but none of them got punished. He told me out of his own mouth, "I need to make an example of you."
He did bring you back several times.
To make a clown out of me. You know that.
Well,
but nevertheless, I appreciate it.
It was a spot.
He put a red nose on me.
There was no red nose.
Yes,
The
there
fans-
was. Yes, there was.
When was there a red nose?
Yes. Me and Mark Henry. I was Rudolph.
Well, that's a skit. I thought you meant on a regular basis. For Christ's sake, Tony.
I was
Tony,
Rudolph.
all right, let's get down to the brass tacks, as they say. Is the only reason Harlem Heat going in this year because they're black?
No.
Booker T already went in.
No,
Why are they
I would
going
say
in?
how Rocket felt.
All right.
Not me, but
All
Rocket and Thunderbolt out there, how Thunderbolt and guys like that felt about that. With any tag team, you take like the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, Luke and Bush.
Have they been in yet?
Yes.
As a team?
Correct.
Yeah. See, now let's say they put Luke in, singer.
Yeah.
But never put them in as a team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think it's more of a professional thing with Rocket, because when you stop and look at what they did for Rocket,
Yeah.
after becoming world champion, what did they do for him after that?
Yeah, fair enough.
And he feel, I hope he's, don't take this wrong, but he feel that he really been duped on this deal, because they didn't ever use
He
him
went
for
in
nothing.
once, and he was, I guess, he wouldn't be one of my top choices to put in. He had a nice run. I don't know if I would call it a Hall of Fame run. I think with Harlem Heat, I think Booker T had Hall of Fame contributions where he was with
yeah.
WWE for so long. Stevie Ray had almost zero contributions, other than he wound up being paid more than Ric Flair and WCW at the time, all the racial lawsuits. Now, can you believe Stevie Ray, a man with such limited contributions to the world of wrestling, was being paid more than Ric Flair and WCW? WWE, it seems every year they have to have one living woman and an African-American attraction. What's that?
And one dead one.
And one. Well, I don't think that's on the mandate, but yeah, I'd almost be insulted, Tony, if I was Stevie Ray. I'd say, you know, all right, I was a mid-card tag team, very good. We were popular for what we were. Certainly not a Hall of Fame duo, but this is the year we go in because we're the black guys. I mean, I could think of probably, and you could too, 50 people that deserve to be a two-time Hall of Famer.
Not more.
More than Booker T.
Yeah.
He had a great career, but
Yeah.
I think going in once was fine for Booker.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
I think Rocky Johnson should have went in the second time around.
What was Rocky Johnson's second contribution when the first one was borderline?
They got rid of him. He
So
got
that
blackballed.
deserved the second Hall of Fame ring? They got rid of him?
Yeah.
I don't know, Dr.
Well,
Rich. I think I'm going to need some couch time.
what I'm saying, his career could have been much greater, but when you get blackballed, I mean, they just clip your reins, brother. You can't climb anymore. It's kind of like I give you the keys to the car. You parking in the driveway. The next day you want to use it to go to the store. I say you can't drive the car no more. But then I tell you, you're not a good driver, but I won't let you drive. Nowhere but just to the garage
There's been some drunk driving on this show tonight, because it's been all over the road.
Well, you know, see that you got to blame Gary for that. He don't brought me that chicken wings.
I'd like to know what was in the teriyaki sauce.
Yeah, and I get that chicken wing talk. I mean, you know, Virginia chicken wing. That bring back all that summer stuff. But there's a lot of guys that should be in that.
I don't think anyone should be in it more than once. I mean, once you've been recognized, I think that's more than enough.
No, that's true.
Well, that's my opinion.
Yeah, the second time around, you're still getting invited in the same Hall of Fame.
You get the $5,000 and you get another ring.
Yeah.
Basically. Dr. Reese, you've been a connoisseur of this great sport for a long time. What do you think of the unique listing of superstars that are going in the Hall of Fame this year? Some definite thumbs up and some others that just boggle the mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's not just totally based on talent. I'm not aware of all the politics involved, and it is what it is. And I think that's just how we have to see it. It is what it is. And when we talk about talent, it's somewhat independent of whether someone's in the Hall of Fame or not.
Do you think Tony may get a second ring for his contributions
Nope.
to Saba Simba?
Nope.
No. All
Nope.
right. Well, I'm trying, Tony. All right,
Never
wrestling
gonna happen.
fans. I hear the music in the background, thank God. We're going to take a brief time out. We'll be back to wrap up the show. All right, Tony, you
You know
ready to
it's
take
9
it home,
o'clock?
brother? I'm starving. What's that?
You know it's 9 o'clock?
It is? All right, well, we better wrap it up then. 5, 4, 3. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. I mean, it is WrestleMania Sunday. It's a big one. Not only do we have Tony, but we have Oscar coming up. We have the MWF Town Hall meeting. It's a heck of a WrestleMania Sunday for us, President.
Yes, it is.
No, and nobody does it better. And the selection of ties is just top-notch, baby.
Oh, I always try to be
Those
classy.
ties are something else. And no pun intended with Freddie Blassie, I'm sure.
No.
All right, Tony. Unfortunately, in just a few weeks, you're not going to be with us when El Presidente and I head out to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the 54th annual Cauliflower Alley Club.
Good for
I
you,
don't
yeah.
know if you're familiar with this, Tony, but the president is going to be conducting a seminar with all the members of the club.
I'm going to be
beautiful.
involved with a seminar on stress and depression and professional athletes. We have a number of surprise guests and people, but talking very seriously about the issues, and I'm looking forward to that.
Throughout the month of April, Tony, as we discuss, you and I, each week to get folks ready for the Cauliflower Alley Club Awards ceremony, we're going to present induction award presentations from years past. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And hopefully, maybe for the 55th reunion last year, we can get Tony out to Vegas with us. Can you
That would be
imagine him
great.
looking at all those feet,
If I'm still
walking the
kicking.
strip? Oh, you'll still be kicking. You'll be
I
alive
hope so.
until you're, well, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you though, putting all jokes aside, Brock Lesnar is lucky,
Yeah,
very lucky.
all right,
Brock is.
yeah.
Because if I was within 10 feet of him, I'd slap him in the middle of the next week and wait for him again on the weekend.
Really?
I would hit him so hard that 10 people in China would fall out. I would jump down his throat, tap dance on his liver, and dare his heart to beat. He's so lucky that Vince won't let me in the ring against him. I rip his head off.
You talking about Brock Lesnar or Brian Blair?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, all right. Just
The
making
one
sure.
that WrestleMania guy there.
Yeah.
I watch him all the time. I would slap him so hard he looked inside out for the rest of his life. He's so lucky that Tony Atlas don't don trunks and go in the ring with him. They're all lucky. I would stretch him from here to China.
Not the WWE Hall of Famer.
No,
not
Brock
that
is
kind.
scared of me.
All right. Well,
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, he see me coming down the street, he jump on the other side every time.
I wish you were with me back on WrestleMania 20 weekend in New York when I was indirectly assaulted by Brock Lesnar in the Hilton.
Oh, you should have called me. I would have straightened him out real fast.
Well, I don't think you had a cell phone back in 04, Tony. You're still going by that pay-by-the-minute flip phone in 2019. Come on now.
I did. Mark Henry, the one that got me to get a cell phone in 2008. That's Mark Henry. I used to carry a pocket full of quarters. Mark Henry said, if we go to the airport and that alarm go off every time, Mark Henry said, what in the world you got to make an alarm go off? And I had a plastic bag with a little towel. He said, what you got all them quarters for? I said, so I could make a phone call.
Where did you
Then
get
I had
the
them
payphone?
calls. Yeah, I had them calls that, you know, when you pay for them,
Yeah.
and you
Pay
have
by
to
the minute.
dial
Yeah.
150 numbers to make one number. So Mark Henry said, why did you get a cell phone? I said, I don't need no cell phone. He said, look around to it. I said, what do you want me to look at? He said, there's no pay phones. There was no pay phone. That's what made me get up. That's what made me get a cell phone. I mean,
The death of payphones made you get a cell phone.
there was no more pay phone. I used to carry all these. I had a pocket full of quarters, go to the airport like this. I used to get about $10 worth of quarters, brother. Put them in my pocket. Mark Henry used to like. There was a thing they put on the TV about me and Mark Henry when I first got together. Mark Henry the one that introduced me to electronic, and we were driving, and I said, I'm gonna be the co-pilot. I said, okay, Mark. Give me the map so I can map out where we're going. Marco, I got a GPS. I said, yeah, that's good. I said, but where your map? Tony, I got a GPS. The map is on the GPS. And I said, what if that thing stopped working? What are you going to do? So I went around and got a whole stack of maps like this. And I'm sitting in the car with the map. Mark Henry is laughing, so he got tears in his eye. He couldn't believe that this old man sitting there. And I said, Mark, you know where you go up here and you can turn it? Mark said, the GPS going to tell me. I drove him nuts. Finally, we got to one place, and Mark got out the car, went around to where I had all them maps at, took all of them.
Got rid of your maps.
I drove him crazy with all these maps. Up and down with the map like this. Mark trying to drive with the map. And I'm going, wait, Mark, you know, we got to go there.
That's the only way you can sum this episode up.
Yeah.
I don't know what more I can add to that.
I learned to text, a year ago I started texting you?
Tony, you still can't text. You try, but the messages that come through to my telephone,
you don't understand.
We could make a special video on that.
Yeah.
All right. Tony, it's been a pleasure to have you with us on WrestleMania weekend. I'm sure we're having a blast down in New York City.
Yes.
Dr. Reese, you're probably lucky you're not going with us.
Maybe.
Maybe. You never know. Well, we got the big town
I
hall.
may show up. You never know.
All right.
You never
Season
know.
3 of Memories and Legends is off to a great start. We look forward to having Tony with us in studio again. If you're in the Boston area, come on down and join us. Admission is absolutely free. Tony looks like he's ready to go fishing now.
Yeah, and Gary will
Bring
chicken
chicken.
wings.
Bring chicken. All right, folks, enjoy WrestleMania. Leave your comments down there. I can't wait to see what you have to say. You and yours, be well. Till next time.
Be well.